guys, how's it going? You got Randy B here.
LC's in the building. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
And we are going to talk about what you're thinking about. And I'm going to get it started today with the first soul clap. I have got to talk about this jackass, Navarro, who has a PhD in social science. And so he feels as if that, like he said, doctors always disagree and get a second opinion. He feels as if his knowledge about medicine is that of equal to a medical doctor. I mean, my mind is blown. Can we talk about it? Can we talk about it?
Navarro is no different than, all right, I'll loop back to Navarro, but I want to start with, because it's something similar with Dr. Drew. So Dr. Drew just came out and apologized for all the false information he was spreading about the coronavirus beforehand. Because like he went on all types of talk shows, all types of news networks saying that like this is no different than the flu. You know, like you guys are, you know, making like a big deal about this, and you know the media is the one that's perpetuating your fears, and everything is just like you guys are just overreacting. Then
right
within the last couple of days, he was like, "My bad, y'all. I was fucking wrong about all of this. It's actually serious. It's not the flu. I bugged out. I need to, you know, chill out." And the thing is, Navarro is no different than any of those, because here's what it boils down to. Everybody wants to get America up and running again, which of course we do. Like, I mean, it's having terrible effects on everyone. Like it
right.
would behoove us to get started as soon as possible.
Absolutely. This ain't fun.
In order to do that, people are just trying to neglect facts to just say that like, oh yeah, no, it's not as bad as everyone's thinking. It's saying it's cool. And now Fauci is like the #1 target for everybody, where it's just like,
he is on 24-hour security detail. He has so many death threats on his life, which I do not understand. It just proves how crazy people are in this world.
It's mind-boggling to me that a man literally just doing his job, speaking about the thing that he got an education for,
yes,
getting attacked because he's saying something that doesn't jive with what we want to happen. Like that, like, and
what we want to hear.
Here's the thing is, and here's the part that I feel like people are missing too. Fauci is paid to think of the worst case scenarios. Like like you need to think of the worst case scenarios in order to prepare for them. We're hoping that all these estimates are wrong. I would like it for all of these estimates to be wrong. But if they're not wrong, we need to have some sort of protocol in place to deal with it. So he's saying, like, it's not like he's out there saying this is definitely going to happen, et cetera. He's just like, right. Yo, we might be out here just, you know, it might be fucked up out here. So everybody just be cool.
That's exactly what he said.
And people saying that he's getting attacked. So then you have people like Navarro trying to question everything. It's like, bro, that's not even your area of expertise. It's like, I made this example before. That's like me talking to you right now saying, do y'all really need all that Planned Parenthood, like, for real?
Right.
Y'all.
But you know what? But people like Navarro do it. And so what I was so angry about is because Trump started out with being this man who was giving all of his medical opinions, right? And then Navarro doing the same thing. So what it brings to me, you know, I always got to think about this from, you know, I'm all into my diversity stuff, is like the arrogance of white, powerful men blows me away, right? That, you know, you brought up the example of Planned Parenthood. You know, those people who feel as if I know more about everything. I am, and it's not, doesn't mean that a person's evil, because I know people hear that when I say that. But when you are, the example I used in my video I did the other day was, I have always had a relationship with my children that I know better than they know, right? Because I've always been in charge. And so now that they're getting older and there's things that they know more about than I do, like this technology, for instance, right? To have to say, let me listen to you. You actually may know more than I do. And not that we're children, right? But I think that white males in America have always owned it, always run it. And so they feel as if their opinion about something supersedes and is better than someone who's actually been trained. Right. And so I was like, so that is what blows my mind. And the fact that they can't see it, like, okay, wait a minute. I ain't a doctor. Who in the hell do I think I am to be sitting up here arguing with this person? Like, I mean, but the arrogance of it blows my mind. And that a lot of people are going to listen to him saddens me, because people are going to die because of this fool.
And you know where the arrogance, where the stupidity of arrogance gets you. And it's like, listen, I'm not trying to kick a man while he's down, and I actually want him to get better. But if you look at Boris Johnson over in the UK, he was out there shaking hands with people that he knew
and talking trash.
And saying like, "Oh, it's not that bad." Now he's over there in their equivalent of the ICU because he might need a ventilator just to stay alive. It's just like, I'm not gonna sit here and just pretend like I know things about things and then, try and give some half-baked opinion about something. It's like, I don't know. You don't know.
And listen, and particularly when you're in a leadership situation where people will follow what you say, right? And you're speaking on it as an authority. Like, I remember when this first came out and people said, Randy, are you going to continue to travel? I said, yeah, as far as I know, I am, right? I'm going to continue to travel from what I know now. But I'm not saying I'm an authority on this. Let me tell y'all that this is not even a serious disease. What the hell's going, I mean, he's an idiot. They're idiots to me. The arrogance has created them just to look like idiots to me. And I think what real leaders do is respect the opinions of the people around you. That's what you do. Like, help me, like, tell me what I need to know. As a leader, I'm supposed to get my best people. So yeah, that blew my mind.
And I don't know. It's just like, I feel like at this point we're all, playing a broken record, but it's still baffling how we can go day to day and just listen to people who don't frankly know shit about shit, and then but they're making the decisions.
It shows how much we desperately want to be led, because we will listen to people if they just lead us and don't even ask, like, what are your qualifications to lead me down this road? And it's like, follow. Yeah, okay.
And at this point, like, I don't understand how. I don't want to make any of this like a partisan thing. Like, I don't care who you voted for at this point. Like, I really don't. It's just, I don't know how anybody could feel comfortable with anybody. I don't, like, if Obama did this, I would say the same thing too. But it's like, I don't know how people are comfortable with any leader who just consistently kind of spits in the face of the people who have the information and then just go on hunches and, I have a feeling that, man, fuck your feeling. Like, go who knows what he's talking about.
Right. It's on my mind.
And stop threatening his life. Like, let him.
Yeah, stop threatening his life, please.
Leave that man alone, man.
Leave that. No, yeah. Okay, so what's your topic for today?
I hate to keep on the Corona thing, but
what else have we got to go? Like, okay, it's kind of like prevailing.
But it's less about. It's less about Corona specifically and more about just plain old ignorance. And it was like, I'm forgetting their names right now, but I wrote about it on my site. But these two French doctors, they were on French television saying, there's this tuberculosis vaccine that they want to see if it'll work on the coronavirus. So their suggestion is, hey, let's go to Africa.
Yeah.
And then just test on the African people.
Yeah.
And then one of the scientists literally made a parallel to what previous scientists did with the AIDS epidemic, of basically how they used, disenfranchised people in certain African countries as guinea pigs.
They always go to Africa.
And the thing is, I want people to understand something. As of right now, I don't know, even though like the numbers are increasing, as of today, Africa is the continent with the least amount of confirmed cases.
By far.
So you mean to tell me you have China, who essentially originated the disease. Mm-hmm. You have Italy with the most deaths from the disease. And then you have United States with the most confirmed cases of the disease. But hey, no. We're going to skip all three of those places. And we're going to go to the place where almost nobody got the shit and then go test on them.
Because we're not humans. because our loss of life doesn't matter if the drug doesn't work, if it kills us, if it causes some irreparable damage. Who cares? We are disposable, and if people can't see that message, and they're also sending the drug that Trump has been pushing.
Which all the health officials are like, no, don't do that.
Don't do that. It wipes you out. But they're rolling it out. They said in, I think, Detroit.
Yes, of course.
Yes, where the majority of residents are Black. So again, we're being guinea pigs. And this is why. This is one of the reasons why so many of us are dying, because we have such a distrust of the medical system, because they've always treated us like this, right? And so it's absolutely scary. So yeah, the testing in Africa, I actually signed like a petition, but I'm like, it was one of those petitions where I was like, this is
what makes me
not going to matter.
About, like, you probably see it on my face, but the thing that makes me even madder about this is when I wrote about it, I said, I don't see how anybody can't see the parallel between prejudice and this, because it's like you're specifically targeting a group of people who, frankly, not to say have nothing to do with it, because the whole world has something to do with it, but they're the people least affected. I don't see how you don't see a parallel. And then somebody hopped in my comments and said, well, technically, the United States and Italy, they have a couple more laws that might stop it. So that's why they're going to go over there. I'm just like, that's your explanation? That's the thing that's the answer you came up with, that is because, okay, so we have more laws to prevent people from doing fucked up shit to people. That's why they're going to say, hey, let's go to the place where we think that there's less laws and go fuck with them people over there. Like that. So you're literally further proving what I'm saying.
But it's just like people say slavery was legal, right? You know what I mean? Like, just
you're further proving what I'm saying.
Right, exactly. Further proving exactly what you're saying. But that's what just makes it so disgusting and making me feel just quite desperate. I do want to say to people, like, be your own medical advocate. If you're not the type of person to get on the computer and do the research, find someone in your family, that 12-year-old nephew who's always online, find him, have him do the research. Do get second opinions like Navarro offered, but not from a social scientist, from a medical doctor. Insist upon them testing you. I mean, insist. Sometimes we go off because somebody didn't get our pizza right. Like, insist that your loved ones are tested and receive the medical care that they need. What scares me when they have these shortages at these hospitals and doctors are having to make choices between who gets the ventilator and who doesn't. Every statistic has shown that we get the lesser care. And so we will have to be advocates. And that's a sad thing, because you don't have people in the hospital with you, but reach out, advocate for yourself, read, do whatever you have to do, because don't think that someone's going to take care of you just because they're doctors, right? Don't get me wrong. People are doing their very best, right? But bias doesn't leave anything. And that's been unfortunately proven. Bias is a piece of who we all are and the choices that we all make. And so you have to have someone who's always checking you. Always.
No, absolutely. I've been fortunate enough where my cousin is actually a nurse, and then I have other friends that are nurses as well, and they've been saying from before it was even fashionable. He's like, hey man, get the mask ready, man. Like don't listen to what nobody else is talking about. Get the mask ready, because it is what it is. And then I'll see, like, I think there was I forgot who put the video up, but they were showing like how, like, sneezing and spray molecules, how far they go and all that. I was just like, well,
yes, there is.
Listen, 6 feet don't work, baby. It don't work.
Not at all.
Don't get you. It don't work, man.
Right.
Even this morning, I was actually taking my kids. So the way, since I'm working from home with me and my wife are working from home, the way we have it set up is that my mother-in-law is helping my kids with the remote learning and all that stuff. So like, she happens to live just a few blocks away, so it works out. But then we were out there this morning, I see a guy, he's wearing a mask, but the mask isn't on, and then he's sneezing. I'm like, yo, bro, are you trying? Like, are you even trying? Like, this is, but the thing about it is, I don't even think he was wearing the mask to like really doing it. It was like a fashionable mask. Like, it's just like, yeah, I got my cool mask. I'm just like, man, you can be cool and die. That's cool. They're like,
exactly.
Like, they save that cool.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think that some people aren't taking this seriously? What is it that you think that exists that people aren't taking it seriously?
Well, the thing is, you know what I think specifically for, you know, for Black people, the way I've seen, especially on social media, is like,
Yeah.
there's a combination of the conspiracy theories.
Yes.
There's people out there saying like, oh, like we don't really get it like that, but then statistically speaking, that's bullshit. So hey, people, look at your numbers. Stop saying that nonsense.
We get it, folks. We get it.
And then like I'll give you a prime example. So I live in the Bronx, right? And
Book it down, Bronx.
absolutely. And we went to. I took my wife one day for a quick trip to her office because she needed to pick up some files for work. And she works in Lower Manhattan. We both work in Lower Manhattan. But when we were down there, the streets were pretty much dead. And for Manhattan, that's like a miracle. like you saw,
I know.
You saw some people outside, but it was like very, very, very minimal. But then when we came back, and I remember I was just like driving to find a parking space, and I'm just looking at literally the amount of people just sitting on the stoop outside, and I'm just like, bro, like, go home, like, just go, like, just please go home, like. And I think that's what it is. Like, we don't. It's almost as if we have like an attitude, like, all right, we've been through a ton of shit. This ain't gonna be the one to do it. But it's like this just might be the one. Well, listen, like, like I used to make a joke, like when I was in college, just like, man, I survived the Bronx. I'm not gonna do some dumb shit here. But it's like, it's the same thing too. It's like, I survived certain things. Like, who am I to test fate and then fuck around and die from the Rona? Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to do that. So I might as well stay inside, take it seriously. But then certain things are unavoidable. Like I see the train, like people got to get to work, which
you got to get to work. And it makes me so mad. Again, it goes to privilege and just being detached from the real world. When people say, well, why are people so stupid? Why are they going out? I'm like, some people are going to work. Like some people have to work. They have to get to work, right? And that's another reason why we are getting it at a higher rate, is because we have jobs oftentimes where we are, you know, around with people, whether we're at the post office, at the grocery store, you know, delivering UPS and FedEx. And so we have to work, and it's not like we're not getting it, you know, so there is that.
Right. And especially in this time when like 10 million people are losing their jobs, like who are we to tell somebody else like, hey, you shouldn't take public transportation to get to work? It's just like, well, I could be one of the 10 million people who ain't got shit. So like so it's like, and then I haven't seen anybody slow down rent payments yet. So it's
not many. That some have, but not very many. And what kills me,
bless them, but it's like they're still looking for their money. It's like, how are we supposed to get that exactly if people can't go to work?
If people can't go to work. Absolutely.
Here we are, a vicious cycle, and what are we supposed to do? What is we gonna do?
What are we gonna do? Right. I mean, it's everybody's stuck. And so, you know, people just need to be realistic about that stuff and patient. Like everybody is struggling to me in some way. In some way, this is affecting. There's no one who is not touched by this disease. But I just want for Black folks to, like, you know, have a reality check, which brings me to my next topic I want to talk about. Still somewhat about the Rona, Ronnie. And that is, I was been thinking about why we believed that we didn't get it. Because I was one of those people in the beginning. I was like, could it be that there's some immunity going on with that melanin, right? Nope. It was wrong. We were completely wrong. But I said, but why did we believe that? Because it doesn't even, for the most part, scientifically make sense. And I said, you know how like you're on social media and you run across somebody that did you wrong, you know, whether ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, or I don't know, teacher, and they're like, their lives seem completely whacked to you. Like I wrote about this, I haven't published it yet. This girl who like was my nemesis in high school. If I dated a guy, I swear she dated him right after me. She would roll her eyes at me, loud talk me. She was just, couldn't stand this girl. She was on me, right? And so I saw on Facebook, because we have a lot of friends in common because we went to the same high school. Years ago, I saw on Facebook, and her life, let's just say, doesn't look that freaking great to me. Don't get me wrong, maybe she's happy as hell, but you know, she's still in the same town. She ain't looking that great. I got a little satisfaction about it, right? On the right, I did. Right? Like, look at your ass. Yes, yes, right? And so I said, I think for Black people, it was like, we always getting a bad end of the stick. Wouldn't that be something? God has come to like give us our just due, that this disease that's wiping out and hurting other people. This was in the early days. We didn't think it was going to be this, that we somehow, like this is some Wakandian stuff that's coming through, that for once we're not affected by something, right? That we are getting our just due, like me seeing that girl doing poorly. And as horrible as that sounds, because I know it does not sound very loving, you know me, I always try to speak the truth until I think what's behind certain things. I think there was a little bit of, oh, we deserve this. Can't we just have one thing that, you know, we don't have to get the worst end of the stick. Like even now that people are dying with it, of course, Black people are dying more because, you know, we got the sugars and the pressures and whatever.
Yeah,
and so I just think it felt like redemption for a while, like for a minute.
I honestly think part of the reason for the belief in the beginning was kind of the trajectory of the disease.
Oh, totally.
Where you, first off, it started in China. Like when it was in China, I was just like, oh yeah, we're good.
That's what I thought. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about early days.
Right. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, we're fine. Right. And then it hit Europe. I'm like, yeah, we're still good. Right. But then when it first hit, I think the first place to get ravaged by it here was Seattle, Washington, or just
Seattle.
So I was like, all right, that's all the way over there. We're still good. Right. So I think it's like when you saw the trajectory, it seemed like it was hitting places where we didn't frequent a lot. So it's just like, all right, if it stays on these outskirts, it stays in these other places, then everything's good. But then you realize it's like, no. If anything, it showed us just how connected we all really are.
It does show us how connected we are.
Where it's just like everybody is constantly moving around, constantly shifting. People are in and out of place,
right.
All over the place where it's like you literally can't stop like the travel of people. You never know who came from where, who was doing what. Like I remember even before they started telling us to work from home, like there was like a huge list in front of like the front door of my job saying it's like, if you've been here, basically take your ass back home. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're not letting you up in here, right? But yeah, I think it was like the trajectory of the disease just had us fooled that it's like, all right, these aren't places where we be at a lot, like, so we must be good. I know for me personally, I didn't necessarily think that we couldn't get it. I actually had like a completely different take on it. Being from New York, I thought to myself, I was like, listen, being here, I breathe in some toxic shit every day. So it's like, not that I didn't think we didn't have it. I was probably saying like, we probably all got it. Like, you know, we probably all got
okay, all right.
I was like, we probably all got it. And then we're just like, you know, maybe our immune systems have been built up to a certain degree because we just.
Well, that's what I mean. Like I didn't maybe like maybe we had it and we could fight it more. But I do think that there was this, you know, like we are from Wakanda kind of.
Yeah, no, there
we had in the beginning. So I don't know if we thought there was some get back in that, whether we're some.
I think people still believe that though.
I think so
that's
too.
The reason why many people are still outside. Like,
maybe because we want to believe it. Maybe because we are looking. That's what I mean. Maybe there's a part of us that really wants to believe that there's something special and that one day we get saved. Yeah, like we get something that it's not us.
It actually reminds me that actually reminds me of a statement that my cousin used to say, which is like, I want to advise all my fellow brothers and sisters out there, just listen to what I'm saying right now. My cousin said this, he's like, so many things in life can kill you. Don't let you be the reason. So I was like, yo, listen, keep your ass inside, man. Like you can avoid any of this.
I love that. Don't let you be the reason. I love that.
So it's just like, don't, like going back to Boris Johnson, where it's just like I said, I'm not trying to kick a man when he's down, like, you know, wishing him a speedy recovery, but it's, you kind of were the reason for your own demise because you were playing with fate. You were playing with fate. Like, I'm not going to be out there like, listen.
His arrogance. I mean, again, his arrogance. See, but his arrogance could kill him. It's almost, I don't know, that's going to sound terrible, but if his arrogance is going to kill anybody, I'd rather be him than the people who are, you know, then when they keep killing other people by their arrogance, giving people false information. I mean, if you're going to be dumb, let it just come back on you, is what I'm saying. And not on everybody else.
So you suffer for the dumb is what you're saying. Like you
Right,
suffer.
right. And don't get me wrong, I don't want anyone to suffer, but if someone needs to
Right.
suffer, I would like for his ass to be on his ass and not be spreading false information. And what he's doing right now, honestly, is the best PSA ever. I mean, he was the one saying, don't worry about this, let's just keep rolling. We're shaking people's hands. And now his ass he's got it, and he's very sick. And so he's been kind of pushed or forced to do a great PSA, like, yeah, I was wrong. And
Right.
this stuff is nothing to play with.
Right.
And so in the long run, him getting ill, I think, has changed and affected and helped more people than him still espousing the ridiculous, arrogant information that was false.
Right. And it's just like I said, it's like, man, I read up on his policies before he was even voted in. Can't say that I rock with him at all, but it's like I also don't want nobody.
No, he's the Trump of across the pond.
Yes, and he's also just blatantly even said worse shit.
Yeah.
Just because at least like Trump speaks in a way where it can have like an air of deniability. Boris just said fuck.
Yeah, I guess.
No, because the thing is, he says things with enough of a thin veil that people can say, "Oh, that's not what he meant." No, Boris Johnson.
Actually, I don't see any veil. People are gonna say that literally. Trump could say, "What's up, niggas?" and people would say, "He meant it." No, see, y'all are too sensitive. He meant it in the nice nigga way.
Of course, but I definitely heard Boris Johnson use the word pickaninnies before, and I'm just like, well, he's not leaving any room for debate here. Like I see what's up. I see what's up, Boris.
we hear you very clearly. Yeah, well, they're both they're peas in a pod, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, can I steal the last topic for today?
Absolutely.
All right, because I want to talk about when you say his stuff is veiled. How do you think he's been treating, particularly the Black reporters, when he said to our sister girl, Masara, that don't be nice, don't be threatening. Like here she's asking a question. And I was like, I don't know how tall she is, but she doesn't seem like a very tall woman. She's in a dress and a blazer on the White House lawn. He has CIA surrounding him, there's people with guns, she can't make a move, but he's saying that she's threatening. Like, what about her as this professional made her threatening?
He does a great job of speaking in stereotypes.
Yes, he's exceptional at that.
He's immaculate. He's like he does it bigly. He does it bigly.
He
speaks bigly in the stereotypes. Like he's the best at the stereotypes. But but it's you know what you're doing, man. Because it's like
no, but I thought it was very telling.
You're playing into what people always think of Black people, especially Black women. Because I remember they did the same thing to Michelle Obama. Just like she could just be standing there, not doing anything. Why does she have such an angry face? She doesn't. She fucking doesn't. She's just
that is her resting face. But we always have to smile.
And it's like especially in the workplace, Black women are always accused of having an attitude or even during situations that they might have said nothing, done nothing. It's just like their just presence is just threatening to people. So it's like when you use a word like that in regards to a Black reporter, you know exactly what you're doing. But then it's like,
so you think that he purposely did it? Like you think that it was?
No, I think it was
just his own bias, just showing.
No, that's the thing. I don't think it was conscious. I think he's just been operating at this wavelength for so long that that's just a natural. That's your natural speak at this point.
Right.
It's the same thing too. Is like not to take it off of. I am forgetting her name right now. I can see her face. But it's the same thing too when like even this white male reporter just asked him, "What do you say to the Americans who are scared?" And his first response was, "You're a terrible reporter." Bro, it's so innate to him that it's just like he doesn't know how to turn it off. Like he doesn't know. Like it's just that is just like my baseline is to attack in whatever way I think is appropriate for whoever's in front of me. And it's
But
just
I
like,
just thought it was telling. Yes, we know that. We know he's going to attack everybody, but I just thought it was so telling that he was calling a Black woman threatening. Like,
no, because it's like
I think that is the problem across America, is that we're seen as threatening, whatever we do.
You're right, and it's and fortunately me, I know exactly what, like, I mean, of course you do too. But it's like I know exactly what that's like to be in any sort of workplace, and it's like you're kind of walking on pins and needles, you're walking on eggshells, because it's like I don't ever want to come off as the angry Black dude, but then there's also been times where I'm just like, fuck it, y'all gonna hear what I'm saying. But it's
Right,
like,
but we're scared, and we're scared to say things because we are considered angry no matter
right,
what we say, no
right.
matter how we say it. I'm like, here she is speaking as, you know, as we like to be called. She's articulate, educated, professional, highly accomplished, wearing a dress. You know what I'm saying? Like, and still she's threatening. So what can we Black people do to not be considered threatening? Because there was nothing about her that could be seen as threatening except for her Blackness, and so that is so depressing in a way.
Thing that the unfortunate thing that we all have to learn is, at this point, it's not a us thing. There's nothing we can do to change anybody's mind. Like that is a feeling, that is a sentiment they're gonna have to work on within themselves. And of course, people like him, I don't expect them to do it, but you're just hoping that, you know, someone else's heart is softened along the way where they can see that, like, yeah, that was uncalled for. So it's just like you're hoping that maybe one heart along the way.
Oh yeah, like another reporter raised his hand. Trump called on him, and he handed the mic over. So she asked questions. So that when I saw that, I was like, yes, that's what a true ally does. You know, people say, right, oh, I'm pro this, I'm not racist, I'm not whatever. I'm like, we'll be anti-racist and do things like that to combat racism or combat straight up racist acts.
Right, and that's actually that actually references something that we spoke about on a podcast before, whereas, you know, something as simple as handing over the mic. People who want to be considered allies, like, it doesn't have to be some overbearing action. It's just right, a simple acknowledgement of what you see as fucked up. Like, it's, you know,
right, that's right. You know,
it's fucked up. So it's just like, just the acknowledgement that something is fucked up goes a long way to make somebody else who might not hear what we're saying, but they hear what you're saying, and say that just like, oh, maybe I didn't think of it that way. And it's like, I mean, it's not something that, it might not be the most widespread thing in the world, but we can't change everybody overnight. Like you change the amount of people that you can. Like one at a time is still better than no people or more people going the other direction. And it's like, maybe that's me being an optimist, but then, hey, it's sunny outside. I'm being optimistic right now.
It's sunny here too. It's sunny here today too.
Ask me the same question later. I might say something different, like fuck all this. Like, what, you know,
well, you know, it goes back and forth, and particularly now. So you're doing well. I know you have been having technical difficulties, but besides that, how you feel like you're hanging in?
So far, so good. It's just for what it's worth, the weather over here is getting a little bit better. So it's like the times that I do get to go outside, at least it's not bitterly cold anymore. So I'll take it. You know,
that's good. That's good. Well, you know, I go back and forth. On some days I feel like, yeah, and some days I'm like, we're never gonna make it. And I know I'm definitely having problems sleeping now because, you know, I talk to people. I'm so concerned about people. A lot of my friends have lost jobs. You know, it's just the economic stresses that people are having, the health stresses. I mean, it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like it's real, and it's hitting home in all sorts of ways. So I just want to, you know, tell everyone to hang in there. We're in it together and apart, but together.
Absolutely.
And we'll be with them.
Yeah, we'll be with them because we're all going through the same thing.
We're all going through it. Well, I appreciate your time, brother. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
I'll see you in a couple days.
All right, people. And hey, I fixed my camera angle for y'all, man. I care.
I know. Yeah, you did. Yeah, we're getting fancy. We're moving up in this world.
We're upgrading.
We're upgrading little by little.
A little
Thanks
by
so
little.
much. I'll
All
holler at
right.
you, LC.
Take care.
Bye.